Most sprinters want to run sub 7, but few ever do. And it's not because they lack of talent, but because they lack structure. And today I'm going to give you the exact 7 step system that make athletes go from 7-3, 7-2 to 7-1, all the way down to 6-9, 6-8, and beyond. So if you follow these steps with consistency and discipline, your 60-meter time will drop this season. So let's get into it. But I'm a big believer in proof. So before we get too deeper in it, because anybody can just shout things on the screen. So let me tell you why you should listen to me. My name is Lawrence Elo Johnson. I'm a professional sprinter, multiple time All American, former dual sport D1 athlete. This year I placed ninth at the USA Championships in the 100-meter dash and ran my first 1-aided sub 10 performance in my career. And here's the proof behind what I teach. Every athlete who's trained with me on a one-on-one basis for at least 6 months has set a new personal record either on the track or in one of our speed testing metrics. So results don't lie. So let's dive into it. Now, the elephant in the room is random workouts. Here's the truth. Nobody wants to admit, right? Following random workouts from someone who's never been fast and never coached a fast athlete is definitely the very first step you need to stop doing if you want to run sub 11, right? You wouldn't let someone who's unqualified do brain surgery on your head, right? And even brain surgeons don't do brain surgery on themselves. Speed is a precision science. It's about force angles, projections, mechanics, and progressions. This is not guesswork because random training really doesn't do anything but just waste your time. Step one, acceleration angles and race outcome. The first 10 meters determines everything. So if your angles are wrong, your race is lost before it even starts. So avoid these common mistakes. Standing up too early, stepping instead of pushing, vertical shin angles, no projection, short and choppy steps. So these are sub 7 mechanics. A forward torso lean, shin angles that matches the projection. You want to push and don't step. And the first 6 to 8 steps need to be powerful with an explosive drive, focusing on covering distance and not frequency. You want your hips and shoulders to gradually rise. And these are the drills you can do. 3 times 10-meter sprints, right? With focusing on pushing accelerations. The cue I believe in here is pushing the ground away from you. So a target metric for the first 10 meters, depending on where you are as an athlete, would be 1.8 to 1.95. Step two would be you want to punch the ground. This is all about force production. Ground contact equals speed, and speed is produced in the ground contact, not how fast your legs move. So most athletes only tap the ground, but sub 7 athletes absolutely punch it. Right? So you need stiff angles. You need to make sure that you're going down and back. You need to strike underneath your hip, and you want an elastic ground contact times. You want high stiffness and projection. And these are the drills I believe in. Wicket runs for about 10 to 15 wickets. The metric should be about 0.12 to 0.14 ground contact times. Step three is to fix your arm drive. This is the rhythm engine. So your arms dictate rhythm and frequency. Your arms set your timing, stride frequency, and rhythms. So if your arms are wrong, your legs cannot be right. So here goes the common errors. I see crossing of the body when sprinting. This should only be done on the curve. Shoulders lifting, weak backside arm drive, tight hands, and rotational chaos. Mechanics, though, are elbow drives behind the hip, hands are relaxed with a straight line drive with a vertical arm path. So arms set your tempo so that the legs can follow. A great drill with this would be banded arm drives, 3 sets of 20 seconds. And you want to lead with the elbow because the metric here is that max velocity rhythm takes 2.8 to 3.1 strides per second. Step four is you want to own the transition from 20 to 40 meters. This is the transition because most people actually lose their race in their transition. So most runners die as the transition phase because most athletes either pop up too early, they start bouncing and they lose projection, or they rush to rise and they lose their hip height. But sub 7 athletes rise gradually, maintain projection, increase frequency smoothly. They stay tall through the hips, but they never just jump upright. So drill this would be 3 times 30-meter rise and runs. The goal here is you want smooth posture. You don't want to pop. The metric here is for that 30-meter target time should be to 4.0 seconds. And then step five is you need to develop your max velocity. This is your speed ceiling. And where most athletes hit their wall, you must be hitting 10.0, 10.5 meters per second. And this is where most athletes hit a permanent plateau. Not because they're untalented, but because their coaching hits its limit. I hit the same ceiling that you're probably hitting. I thought I could self coach. I thought I could understand mechanics. I thought if I was watching drills on YouTube, it was enough. And the coach I had at the time, a great person, was not a speed specialist. Great for conditioning, great for effort, but not great for sprint mechanics. And I stayed stuck running the same time for months. My flying 10 never improved. My posture stayed messy, and I thought it was genetics. And honestly, I thought it was talent as well. But maybe I wasn't built for speed, is what I thought. But then I got around a real speed specialist, right? A coach who's been where I wanted to go. And one session, my shin angles changed, my posture changed, and my ground contact time cleaned up. Working with a sprint speed specialist in track and field, in 1 week dropped nearly a full tenth off of my flying 10. That coach actually went on to go coach at Texas A&M. In 1 month, I broke a plateau that I was stuck in for years. And it was because that coach saw something that I didn't know. And he helped me rebuild that belief into myself. So that was the moment when I realized that self coaching hits a ceiling and a non specialist coach hits an even lower ceiling. And you can't break your ceiling if you're blind to it, because I didn't even know. Back to step 5. You want max velocity implementation, and that comes from front side mechanics, tall hips, vertical stiffness, smooth rhythms, relaxation. And then your drills would be your flying 10s. Let's only do 4 reps though. And the cue here is you want to relax into speed. And the metric is that your flying time, flying 10 times, 1.0. Ideally, it'd be 0.95 to maybe 1.0 around sub 7. And step 6 would be your speed reserve, right? So that's when you want to finish with power. You want to finish races clean, because anyone can look good for 20 meters. Literally anyone can look good for 20 meters. But sub 7 athletes finish clean through 60 meters. And to build that, you do reps at 90 to 95% with clean mechanics, controlled rest, tall posture, late in reps. The drills I believe in will be 3 times 60 meters with 90 to 95% intensity. And here's you want to finish tall. And a metric here is that you want the last rep to be within 3 to 5% of your first rep. So this is how we're going to do it all together. So in step 7, now let's build the system. Sub 7 is not about talent, it's about system. A real system includes weekly split training, weekly film reviews, max velocity exposure, block work, and progression based training. Yes, your training need to have progression to it. And then nutrition, right? And then recovery and accountability and discipline and consistency. Because you don't need perfect spikes. Most people think they need perfect facilities or you need a perfect timing system. You just need a repeatable system that closes the gap. I want you guys to think about this. If you want to run sub 7, you're definitely not going to get there by gambling your future on random workouts. And if you do, you might not even know what you have to do next year to repeat that time, because everything you did up to that point was random. So stop following random people who've never lived the life that you're trying to build. This is your year to build discipline. This is your year to build the system. This is your year to evolve. But speed is a precision science. It's about force angles, projections, mechanics, and progressions. This is not guesswork, because random training really doesn't do anything but just waste your time. So if you want to run sub 7, it's not just about time, it's the identity that you're stepping into. So if you're ready to step into that identity, I want you to know right now that you have to declare, I will protect that dream.